For Jesse, though, man, I'm surprised that at first I was surprised they hadn't found a way to bring Jesse back, because if anybody remembers Jesse, he died in this movie, man. He never came back. You can't hit his big ass. Vin Diesel.
Well, he's on a motorcycle firing sideways.
That's true. And posing at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey. They say it's the end of an era, Martin.
I'm gonna break yours. Piece by piece.
What's the plan, Dom?
I'm not sure anymore.
Yeah, none of us are. I don't think y'all even know what the hell y'all doing,
drive
man.
around, we're gonna blow some shit up. We're gonna laugh in the face of science.
And gravity and physics and all that stuff, man. What we always do. Bunch of nonsense. We're just gonna blow shit up until there ain't nothing left.
Yeah.
And that is kind of where we are right now. They say that Fast X, as Martin likes to say, Fast 10, your seatbelt.
Yeah, of course. I can't believe they didn't use that.
Might as well.
Right.
Shit, I mean, can't be no goofier than what this movie. Anyway.
Hey, you want to save some of that for the actual review?
I do. I'm sorry. I'm serious, sir.
Don't get ahead of yourself.
But yet I digress. But yes, they have blown up so much stuff. We ain't got nothing left no more. So we are at the end of the road, Martin. Pun it definitely intended. Well, we got 2 more movies after this.
Is it 2 more?
I think it was, yeah. I don't know what they're gonna do besides just blow more shit up.
Oh my God! I thought it was just 1 more because they exhausted so much.
Yeah, no, I think they said they're gonna split in 2, but I hear rumors that they want to make this a last trilogy.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
Ain't nothing left.
Honestly, I felt like this. Okay, all right, okay.
Okay, man, we still got more family to bring back in. Come on now.
No, I know. We still have one major piece of the puzzle missing.
There's still dead people we got to bring back to life and everything. Now get your ass. Yeah, man. So to get to this point right here, it's called Fast 10, but it's been 22 years, man, and
That's amazing.
A lot has happened in 22 years.
Yeah.
This gang has gone from being street races to being secret agents.
Yeah, secret agents,
to
spy hunters.
Spy hunters to just the super powered human beings. And once we're done with that, they went from being super powered human beings, superheroes, to astronauts.
Astronauts, that's right.
Do you remember there was a time you never thought you'd ever hear those words uttered in a Fast and Furious movie, especially the first one?
Well, you think back to movies like The Right Stuff and Apollo 13 and even Hidden Figures, where it took so much training and calculations and all this money to get people in space.
Yeah.
And here they just did it like it wasn't nothing.
And it only took some nitrogen oxide or whatever. And a Pontiac.
Yep,
it just took 2 black dudes, a Pontiac and some gas.
Yep, a Ludacris and a calculator. He figured it all out.
With the saga coming to a close now, man, at least this phase, I mean, this ain't gonna ever stop.
You don't think so?
No.
I feel like they're exhausting everything.
You're gonna have another generation of furious people.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right, the next generation.
The next generation. Yeah, it ain't going nowhere. Just get used to it. That's we're here.
all the bros are getting old, man.
That's why we having another generation. I mean, my man said tonight, he said, hey, this is what we do. We give it to the next generation to do better. They're going to do crazy. They're going to be dumber than what we were right now. Get out of here.
Hey, weren't you guys supposed to be talking about the first one? Yeah. We'll get to it.
Whatever. But, at least for this phase, I don't know what the future's going to hold for this, but they say that the saga is coming to a close right now. So because of that, what better time than now to go back and take a look at the first Fast and Furious? Back to a much simpler time, much more normal time. You know, back before these people turned into mutants and started kicking missiles.
When they had normal strength.
When they had normal strength. Before they were kicking missiles and destroying streets with their feet.
Thing about street fights, the street always wins.
Yeah, people, we're taking it back to where it all began in 2001 with The Fast and the Furious.
Let's go for a little ride.
What the hell was that all about?
A business deal that went sour. Plus, I made the mistake of sleeping with his sister.
So, you know, we joke all the time, constantly, about how these movies have changed. You know, we hear us talk about how physics and, you know, gravity have just retired. They got their check and left.
They quit.
They quit. They said, can't keep up with y'all. But I haven't seen this movie in about 17 years, man.
No, I've rewatched it a bunch.
Okay, so you warmed up to probably what we have right here. If you haven't seen this movie in 17 years or longer, it's a shock to your system to watch what we have right now, to watch Fast and Furious 9, and tonight we saw Fast 10.
Yeah.
It's like that's a jolt, man.
Yeah.
You know, and listen, I like a lot of these movies, so I'm not trying to talk bad about the films, you know, because they have a hardcore fan base that they're gonna like this no matter what, which is why they call these movies critic proof.
Sure, and you can see it. I mean, there's fun to be had.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, it's extreme action. I mean, the dialogue's terrible, but nobody cares about that.
Yeah. I like the way my man keeps talking about family. He's been talking about family through the whole series. Now this is like an inbred family.
Well, you know, so within families, there's a lot of times there's squabbling. It's just not always the people you squabble with are actually trying to kill you.
Yeah. These are just stupid at this point. You know, but I'm saying, man, I'm not trying to talk bad about these. It's fun to be had, like you said. Yeah. And the audience is, you know, they're dedicated to this film series. So, you know, cool for that, man. But I'm just saying, story-wise, and Martin, I'm gonna say what you said, man. This Martin told me the other day, he said, these are not real movies.
No.
You know, these are, you know, story-wise, they're not real movies. You know, these are superhero thrill rides now. But that's where we are. That's where we are now. We're at just an absurd level of filmmaking here. And if you're into spectacle, that's great. If you're into story, you know, then maybe not. I don't know. But you know, looking at what they have here with the Fast and the Furious, the first one, that's why it was such a shock to see, you know, where we got to these just amusement park rides, because the first one was an actual story. You know, the first one was an action crime thriller. Yeah. You know, it wasn't a fantastical, you know, superhero movie.
No, not at all.
No. Our comic book movie, which is what they are now. You know, and it wasn't that complicated of a story. I mean, things are way complicated now. Not that they have a story at this point either. Yeah. But you know, back then it was it was a pretty simple story, man. You had a cop, Brian O'Connor, who goes undercover to stop a group of thieves who are carjacking shipping trucks. And they're trying to do this before truckers start taking the matters into their own hands. And, you know, the FBI is involved. They're stealing, you know, millions of goods from these trucks. And when I say these truckers are going to take it in their own hands, you know, they mean it too. I liked what it, like, at this point in the movies, or at this point in this particular film, the truckers are tired of their shit.
Yeah. So they're packing.
They are. Shit. I've had enough. Like they want to murder now. Yeah, you know, what's funny about it is that, because I remember when we were talking about how, you know, from where we are now, it all started modestly. You know, they were street racers, but when they were jacking these trucks, they were like bootleg DVDs. And I would say, you know what, the stuff that these guys are jacking from these trucks, not even that great.
That, you know, that's really like the only hitch in this first movie, is that when you really look at what they're stealing, you're like, can they make that much money off of these things?
Man, they were selling...
Yeah, DVD players.
They were selling not just DVD players, they were selling TV DVD player combos.
Oh,
Nobody was buying that shit that much.
Yeah, not that much.
This ain't nothing but an advertisement for Panasonic, man.
That's true.
Nobody, seriously, man, whenever you saw somebody with those TV, DVD combos, you laughed at their ass.
Uh-huh.
Because everybody was buying the DVD players with the new features in it.
Right,
Which
right.
They didn't have those right there.
Right.
And the gang was led by the now famous Dominic Toretto, who it's like we say, is pretty much superhuman at this point. Played by Vin Diesel, and it was funny because his front was a garage.
Mm-hmm.
He was a mechanic, but I forgot that he ran a grocery store.
He did?
Yeah, it was a grocery store that he was running, like a little corner market,
Like a bodega?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And they were and they happily told you I'm surprised these dudes did not get caught, man, because they were when they were going out there and jacking these trucks, they knew that they were street racers.
Mm-hmm.
He's the most popular street racer.
Yeah.
Plus, they bragged about how shitty the food is. Like the only reason why people ate there because everybody wanted to fuck Dom's sister, man.
Oh, yeah.
Mia.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah, they ran that little store. Yeah.
Yeah. They gladly told you that the food was shit.
Every day for the last 3 weeks, you've been coming in here and you've been asking me how the tuna is now. It was crappy yesterday. It was crappy the day before.
It's like, yeah, I don't care about no tuna. I care about your tuna. That's the only reason why people ate there, man.
She was pretty sexy.
Oh yeah, yeah, and that was funny because Dom, he just adopted new metal bros.
Yeah.
He took in strays,
Uh-huh.
and they talked about how it was Dom's personality because he just drew people in gravity. No, they your sister, man. Yeah, and she knew it because she played with these dudes' heads, man.
Yeah.
Hey, what was that Cuban restaurant you wanted to take me to?
Cha-cha-cha.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Well, you can take me there.
Oh man.
Man, if I was Brian, I'd be looking over at Vince going like, man, look, I ain't had to do with this.
Yeah.
Come on. Why are you making beef between me and him?
I know.
He already don't like me.
So that's Vince. Vince died in the 5th movie.
Yeah.
But Vince was he was the hothead of the group, and he already did not like Brian. I'm like, why you starting? You're right.
Yeah.
It's like, why you know they don't like each other. The movie opened with them fighting,
Mm-hmm.
but she loved that shit.
Oh, yeah.
Mia.
Yeah, she act like she was above it, but then she pulls that move. You're like, go, come on.
That was some lame shit right there. Dick went just as limp. Oh. This is one of the things I want to bring up. That's the difference between the Fast and Furious, the first film, and like the later stuff that we got to, especially today. It's interesting to see how the priority of the films have shifted.
Yes. Because especially with this initial film, it was inspired by an article about street racers.
Mm-hmm.
And the producer, Rob Cohen, is the director, wanted to make something about that. And, got it together, got it written. I forgot who wrote it. And
Was it the guy? The guy who wrote Training Day? Was he?
David Ayers is. I think he was
one of the writers on this. Yeah.
I mean, hey, if it happens in LA and it's with any kind of gangs, David Ayers is contractually obligated to write some of that.
And if there's a bunch of Mexicans around, that's especially.
Yep. But yeah, and it was all about keeping a simple story, but it's about the cars and the speed, but it's so much character is in it.
I don't know what you feel about this, but it's because, I mean, of course, the cars are always going to be a highlight in this movie, man, or this movie series. Mm-hmm. But it seems to be, even with the cars involved, it seems to be more about the stunts. And you see that over and over and getting more prominent in every film. I mean, by the time we got to Fast Furious, Fast 9 or whatever, it was really all about the stunts. Those were the real stars of the film.
Stronger than Dom. But could you kill him?
They just bounce off the ground like rubber, man. But so do you think that that's the case right now, that they really do emphasize the stunts and CG and explosions more than the cars now?
Oh, absolutely. Because that was a thing. Because the first 4 movies really are about the cars and the racing.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you get to the fifth movie, not only are they not racing, but they finally get to a scene where they got to go to the big race. They didn't even show the race. They come back from the race going like, woo, good thing we won that race.
Yeah.
You're like, where was it? And that it stopped being about, any kind of thing with the actual cars. It became about the stunts and the CG.
I have to give them credit for reinventing themselves to keep going.
Yeah.
I mean, and it worked.
Yeah.
It definitely worked. But, back then, it really was the cars that drew people in, man. And that's what I like about this movie because, going back and watching it, I remember how everybody wanted to be a street racer.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody wanted to be cool like these guys over here. But, none of us even knew what the talking about. You remember they're like talking about these cars, and all of us shook our heads like, yeah. But they were speaking a completely other language, man.
See a cool air intake. It's got a nice fogger system and a T4 turbo Dominic.
And a standalone fuel management system.
Yeah, system, man. Yeah,
I know. And I'm just looking at it going like, yeah, it's got a lot of blue wires.
Yeah.
but to the credit to the movie, one of the things I fell in love with it for, because I didn't give a shit about cars. I didn't know nothing about them, didn't really care. And they sold it in such a way that got me amped up, where I was like, I get it now. I don't understand what they're saying, but I get the love for it.
Yeah.
I mean, it really brought me into that world. I was like, this is what I want a lot of times. Like, might be something like, I don't know nothing about that, but like, oh, wow, you really explained it in a way where I'm totally into this now.
Yeah.
Or if not into it, I understand it.
You want to be part of this gang too. I mean, that's how cool they were, man. And the funny thing is they were Hondas. That's all they were. They were just big ass Hondas, man. But everyone wanted to be a street racer, man, because they made those Hondas look cool. They to even a silly level. Like these weren't cars anymore. These were rocket ships.
Yeah.
Like that's some James Bond shit.
I know, but you know how cool that is.
No,
somebody flipping switches.
Yeah. Yeah, anytime you just look busy, yeah.
You're like, oh shit. Ooh, goosebumps.
Oh yeah. And oh shit, boy, this is what really got people. Like it was one thing to stand back and look at those wires and nod your head like you were talking about. You didn't, yeah, man, yeah, system, yeah, torque,
yeah, intake, manifold,
nitrous, yeah, man. I dig that shit. Nah, man, this was I think this is the first movie where we saw this effect. It was one thing to stand by and look at that engine, but when they took you inside that shit, like it was a ride, like a roller coaster ride. Shit. Everybody loved that effect. And it's funny because you look at the series now and it's nothing but CG at this point.
Yeah.
It's CG explosions, and I know they do some practical stuff. They definitely go out there and they wreck a lot of cars and whatnot. But a lot of this stuff is CG too. A lot of this stuff,
yeah, most of it is CG, and what isn't is stuff that's like, yeah, but that's not plausible.
No, but it's funny how we had to go to that. We have to go to these levels now of CG explosions and cars and even people to be to feel like we're seeing something of spectacle. Back then, that was the biggest CG we had in there. Mm-hmm. Probably not the biggest, but that was one of the most impressive ones. Yeah. And that's all it took to like suck us in, man. Yeah, literally.
Yeah, but it would get to that sequence, and your breath would stop.
Yeah.
Just like, you just feel it. It's like the nostrils running through you.
Yeah, no, it was that CG effect of going through the engine, and also the camera work enhanced by CG, where it felt like you were either racing with them or racing against them. That the camera work was amazing in here, man. But they also did wild things in those films, man. I'm sorry, in this film, because we look at it today and we talk about the crazy stuff they do. It was cool to get a reminder that they did do some impressive stunts in this movie, because
especially with the truck hijacking.
Yeah,
it took a lot of coordination.
No, it definitely did. I mean, the movie opens up with them doing like crazy stuff because I forgot that they like actually used like
Spear
harpoons
guns.
and spear guns. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, let me see. Huh? Oh no, that's not the one right there. Where? Oh, that's what I was going. That's what I was going to talk about. That was another thing with these cars, man. I didn't know much about the cars. I know what they were talking about. All I knew is to win, you press that magic button.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
They had that one button when you were falling behind, or if you wanted to get a lead on somebody. I didn't know nothing else, but I knew that you pressed that button and you were gone. Because they did that a lot in the movie. Whenever
You had to know when to press it.
that is true. That is true because like Letty had a race with somebody and she knew when to press it. Bitch. Left his ass in the dust. He was talking a lot of trash too.
Yeah. No, it's like she left his soul behind.
Everybody would moan or have this real sad sound. Like your boy Jesse. He pressed at the wrong time and that Asian dude got ahead of him. And when he sped past him, he's like,
Poor Jesse.
I know, man. That guy. Got that actor's name, man. But I was going to talk about Jesse a little bit because they keep doing stuff. I'll bring up Jesse a little bit later because I have a question about Jesse and what they could do with him. But no, going back to what you're talking about where they were doing stuff at the beginning of the movie. Yeah, they had harpoons and spear guns, and the heists were always, that's probably, would you say that's probably the closest to what we have in these movies now?
Yeah.
That's about as wild as it got.
Yeah.
Now, do you remember we thought that was crazy?
Sure. Little did we know.
Yeah, little did we know. Shit, if you brought a spear gun today, they'd laugh your ass out the film.
Wait, what do you plan to do with that?
Yeah, you going fishing? What the hell you do? Bitches use harpoons, man. Shit, today we got missiles and robot suits. So you look at today how. Okay, so I'm not talking about this particular movie. You have to wait and hear our review for Fast 10. But one of the things that has left me not as invested in these movies anymore is that there's no real consequence.
Right.
Because either people can get brought back no matter if they explode or not. Mm-hmm. When somebody takes a 50-story fall, they're going to bounce right off the ground.
Yeah. It's going to be a slight inconvenience. They might wince.
Yeah, Dom's tank top might get dirty or scratched up, but that's about. Notice his shirt will get scratched up, but that skin,
no, never,
not a scratch
not
on
a scratch.
it.
Won't scratch. It won't burn. I mean, his head. We just saw his head go through a door frame, and it didn't phase him in the least.
That always made me laugh, man. They like you ever see those cartoons where like somebody gets thrown through a wall and that shape is there? That's what this reminded me of.
Faster than Dom.
These are cartoons now. There's no consequence.
No, somebody dies, they come back. Somebody's an enemy. Later they're your friend.
Yeah, exactly, man. I did notice that sometimes a lot of times in this movie, when you did something crazy, there was a consequence.
Oh yeah.
Like I remember that scene where one of the wild stunts is when Letty went under that truck. And I thought, well, this is a Fast and Furious movie. She's gonna like pop out on the side and just drive on about her way. Nah, there was a consequence for that. She all right.
The way it is now, these days, she would have got it hit, flipped, and flipped back on her wheels and kept going.
Oh yeah. Oh hell yeah. She would have climbed out the car and surfed that shit to the ground. Yeah. There was usually I don't want to say a price to pay, but they did show you that if you do something, the crazier the stunts you do here, the more risk you're taking. So it definitely felt like there was, these people were in danger. See, that's what I don't have now, with this. I don't feel like any of these people are in danger.
Yeah, yeah.
But there is one thing that has been constant. I can always say that there's one thing that was steady. The one thing they always kept in every movie. Ass and titties. You got hot girls.
Did they have it in the last one? I mean, I know they got it in a new one, but
yeah, they did.
Okay.
Yeah, there's always going to be some place where they stopped and
that's the bread and butter.
That is.
I mean, from the beginning, it was one of the things that lured people in. It was like, wow, the car. If I get one of these cars, I get to race, but the women too. They show up like this. That's
a global language right there. We all speak that. That's international. Shit, boy, it got me all bothered, man. Look at this. Wish I had some dad grass right now to settle my ass down. And it don't hurt that I put it on that. There's another hot chick right there.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, man. Well, Mother's Day is past, but dad grass is still there, man.
Mother's Day is past. We get some dad grass for your ass.
Yes, dad grass. The reason why I'm talking about dad grass settling me down right now is because that's what dad grass is for. Dad grass is meant to give you a nice mellow mood without making you too loopy, a little too crazy. You know how it is. I can't smoke that hard Mary Jane right there, but dad grass is something that I can handle because it's 100% organic pre-rolled and is very low in THC and high in that CBD. It's like having a glass of wine.
Sure.
Instead of the whole bottle, but March out with the whole bottle.
I want the whole bottle once it's open.
Well, then you don't need this, Martin, right here. This people want that mellow feeling right there. And also, doesn't mean that you have to smoke it. They got all kind of products here, man. They got gummies. Let me go up here to some of these products. They got gummies. They got tinctures. And I love gummies, man. I don't think I've had any of the gummies. I have the tinctures before, and I've liked that a lot. The gummies I'm looking forward to getting. I'm actually going to ask for some because they're going to send me some stuff, and I love gummies, man. If I get the feeling from all the other products that they've had that I've tried, then the gummies are going to be just right. And hey, you don't have to do it alone either. Invite your best friend, your dog. They have CBD dog treats. If your dog is a little high strung, your dog needs to mellow out. I know Pixie, she hates the rain. It was raining today and she was panicked a little bit.
Yeah.
So, I'm thinking about getting her some CBD treats. I know I keep saying I'm gonna order some. I'm actually gonna order some because she freaks out. And Mojo just needs to sit his ass, man. You know what I'm saying? Mojo's all fidgety and everything.
I know. He definitely needs it.
Yeah, he definitely needs some, man. So, like I said, I've had some of this, man. I really enjoy it. They continue to send me stuff, and I want you to try it too. And hey, they're not sexist. They got mom grass out there and everything. So as I said, if you're just looking to chill out a little bit, or you're looking for another way to get that mood, dad grass is the thing for you. And it is federally legal for ages 18 and over, and it ships right to your door, and it is TSA approved. And also, I have been approved to get you 20% off your first order. So go to dadgrass.com/toasted. That's dadgrass.com/TOASTED and get 20% off your first order. I want to thank Dadgrass for sponsoring this portion of the show. And of course, thanks to all of you out there for your support. Now, where were we? The cars. Even though the highlight was the ridiculous cars in here. The cars were ridiculous, man. Mm-hmm. We just showed you how over the top they are. I'm not experienced enough to know if this is like fantasy or if they actually spend this much to make these cars do this.
Well, I mean, they were spending, at least 10 grand on all that stuff they were putting in those cars.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there is a moment where Dom looks at Brian and says that after Brian ruined his car, he's like, well, that was a 10 grand well spent right there. But even though you have these ridiculous cars in here, and we talk about how these movies are today, how they're cartoons, how they're comic book movies, these were just a little bit anime at the time. When they started racing, they had those anime speed lines behind them.
Yeah.
Now that is out of a cartoon right there.
Yeah, well, and something people have pointed out is that they're doing these quarter mile trips that last 30 seconds, but this is 2 minutes.
They are traveling warp speed. Oh, it's 2 minutes, and they're traveling warp speed right now.
Yeah, like a real quarter-mile race would only go, a quarter as long as the sequence they filmed.
Yeah. Even though we have very over-the-top parts in this film right here, not as over-the-top as we have right now, but the difference is that as these movies have gotten more over-the-top later, they've lost some of their humanity.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Even when they do have moments of interaction between the characters are either making tough guy talk or they're cracking jokes, or if it's a serious moment, they're talking about family.
Yeah.
But the first one, they didn't have their superpowers yet.
Right.
So they had moments to act like humans. That's one of the things, when I saw this again, I said, we don't have any moments where the characters just stop and really become human beings anymore.
No, we've left that behind.
We left that
in the dust.
Yeah, this is us leaving that behind right there. Human, we don't want that shit. Yeah, leave that way back there. You were talking about that character of Jesse, man. There was a couple of moments in here with that character of Jesse where I was like, man, now this is moments where it made me endear to the characters. We don't have that anymore. Like Jesse talking about how he had ADD. He's talking to Brian, and he's like, yeah, I dropped out of school. I'm a smart guy, but nobody would have me. So, I got to school, I couldn't really do anymore. But Dom took me in, and I found my calling with car engines.
No, I got that. ADD? Yes, that shit. Yeah. Something about engines that calms me down.
We don't get scenes like that anymore. We don't have time for it.
No. And nothing to the point to where what happens to Jesse later, like you really feel bad for him.
Oh, yeah. No, you really do, man. And even the scenes now, like I said, now today we mostly get those human interactions when they go back to that same yard where they drink Coronas and eat barbecue. Even those scenes aren't like what they used to be anymore.
No.
They come back, like I said, they just keep talking about family. Somebody gets up and gives a speech.
Well, yeah. I mean, this first time around, it felt more organic. Like, hey, you kind of notice that they're a family.
Yeah.
But then after that, they just say it so much. You're like, God damn it. Okay, yeah, I got it.
No, that is true. I swear to God, if you say that word one more time, because you're right. Back then, they just acted like family.
Because you were the first out of everybody here to reach in to get the chicken, you say grace.
Titanium valve springs. Thank you.
Amen. Not bad.
Man, you were right about Vin Diesel. He was so charismatic in this movie. He's just a big lunkhead robot now.
Yeah.
It's just a damn Terminator. He was so good in this, man.
He was. I mean, you watch this, you can see how he so quickly became a star.
Yeah. Yeah, he just scowls in these movies now.
Yeah.
He just walk around mad.
And I don't know if you caught that just in that scene, but just what's going on with Brian and Mia. Because Brian's supposed to be there to infiltrate them and bust somebody. But this thing with him and Mia, it's really picking up and slow, just like little glances back and forth.
Yeah, no, that's true, man. Yeah, no, it's subtlety. Something we don't. Something that doesn't.
It's not even
subtlety left with gravity and physics. Hey, y'all.
Yeah, wait up for me.
Don't start the car yet. Everybody talked about, you remember how people talked about how bad an actor Paul Walker was at one time, but this is one of the movies that he was good in.
Yeah.
And he was good without having to say a lot of things. Like, man, I love it that he had a natural reaction to being made fun of after he lost the race.
Yeah.
Because he looked like he really was embarrassed, man.
He's like, I almost had you, man. You almost had me. Hey, everybody hear that? He almost had me. He's like, oh, yeah.
And you know what people, people like, they feel stupid. They feel stupid, but they still try to keep that smile on their face.
Yeah.
It don't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning's winning.
Boy, looking stupid has been his best actor.
I know. I mean, he's Keanu Reeves in this. Specifically, Keanu Reeves in Point Break. Since this is his movie.
That's true.
Pretty much a remake of Point Break.
Yeah. No, that is very true. probably some of the best acting in the movie. You probably remember this guy right here.
Of course. Me?
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah. That's right, brother.
You suck up.
That extra always gets me. When somebody talks about an extra that ruins a shot, I think about that guy right there. And they told these extras not to say anything, so you know that's why he's overacting, because he can't make words. Like, yeah, man.
Almost like me?
He got you, man. Motherfucker, who you think he is? Say that shit.
He just moved off and stuff. Still pantomiming back there.
But Jesse, though, man, I'm surprised that at first I was surprised they hadn't found a way to bring Jesse back, because if anybody remembers Jesse, he died in this movie, man. He never came back. You can't hit his big ass. Vin Diesel.
Well, he's on a motorcycle firing sideways.
That's true. And posing at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey. Meanwhile, he's stupid at just standing there.
I know.
Yeah, Jesse. Jesse stole a car, man. And, the thing, that's why I was saying with Jesse, man, I was saying, man, I'm surprised they didn't find a way to bring Jesse back, but Jesse wouldn't last with these crazy ass, big muscle bound dudes. First of all, Jesse was he was a coward, man. And, because if you remember this part of the movie, like what happened? He took it. He
lost the race.
He lost the race. So was that his dad's? Does his dad pay for the car?
Yeah, it was something might have been his dad's car, and he lost. He's supposed to give it up. Instead of giving up, he just kept on driving. And they were all like, "Oh, just what are you doing?"
Yeah, he panicked and got scared and just kept going.
Go! Heads up, we got problems.
Where's Jesse going?
Just reached Sharon for slips.
Shit.
I have a feeling they did that with Jesse a lot. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
But also with Jesse, man. See if I can find this here. Also with Jesse, if you listen to Jesse, man, Jesse was just reaching puberty in this movie. There was so many times he sounded like Shaggy when he was talking.
We got a wolf pack. It's Johnny Tran, and he's coming your way really fast.
He's coming your way really fast. Even though if they wanted to bring him back, I'm sure they could find some sort of. I would not be surprised if next movie. Hey, Dom. All right, it'd be funny if he came back. Hey, Dom. Deep ass voice.
I thought Jesse died. No. He was in a coma for a while, but.
That was the old Jesse. He come back all muscle bound and swole.
Well, now the way they do it now is somehow the agency, Mr. Nobody, swapped him out because he had his eye on them back in the day.
Yeah. We're talking about how charismatic like Vin Diesel is and Paul Walker, how he is. These are the people that we root for now as the heroes of these movies. But they were the bad guys.
Yeah.
We get kind of glossed over that.
Oh yeah. No, that's the thing. Because they kept obscuring in the beginning. You're like, well, is it them doing the robbing? But by the end, you're like, yeah. And it's all comes down to, okay, Brian, what you gonna do?
Yeah. Well, today, we gloss over them being bad guys because we just don't want to have to think about it now. But that was the point of the first movie.
Yeah.
For them to be bad guys, but we saw Brian getting seduced by this whole family atmosphere and, the sister.
Yeah.
But he was, and plus Vin Diesel as Dom was so charismatic, he was being brought in by his charm until at least for a moment, Paul Walker as Brian let it slide after a while, but there was one moment where Brian looked at Dom, he's like, this is crazy.
I watched my dad burn to death. The people that were there said that he had died before the tanks blew. They said it was me who was screaming.
See, that should be the first sign.
I'm just gonna back out slowly. All right, Dom, that's cool. Well, maybe we can get together tomorrow.
Yeah, you full of Vietnam flashbacks and shit. And when he turned around, he's like, and he looked just like you. Wait a minute, Dom, what are you doing? Wait, Dom, no!
And I hit him. And I didn't intend to keep hitting him, but by the time I was done, I couldn't lift my arm. And they banned me from the tracks for life.
This mother is crazy. Brian's scared. He's like, boy, if I want to have sex with your sister, I'll be out of here by now. And keep in mind, though, never mentioned that he had a white brother.
That's my dad! That's my dad! We're getting him out of there! We gotta get him out of there! That's my dad!
I guess the trauma just made him forget that. It was,
Yeah, white brother and a Puerto Rican grandmother. Now I was like, all right, I guess they just say like, listen, everybody here is biracial and
Yeah.
just deal with it.
Shit, I'm waiting for
It don't matter.
It don't matter. I'm waiting for the Jamaican cousin to show up. Hey, dog.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
Got a half black son, but okay, all right, okay. All right, whatever.
Why don't you just let some Muppets in here?
Well, that was a thing. They credit with putting more ethnic people in movies because these movies did so well with so many brown people that they were like, hey, I guess we can sell movies with brown people.
Yeah. I like the way brown people came in and immediately said, you know what, this shit don't make no sense.
I'm sorry, I'm just processing. Who pre-planned an aerial jump and landed at the bottom of an airplane? Who does that?
Exactly.
They always make Tyrese the clown, but he's the only one who ever stops and goes, this shit is ridiculous, right?
And
they go, you stupid to say something like that. Wait, somebody was finally making some sense out of this. Y'all shut him down.
I give it to Roman, man. Tyrese is Roman. He really is the one that sits up there and tells everybody, like, the going on? Are y'all real? For real with this? He's right here, he says, who does this shit?
And they gaslight him every time.
And clown on him, man. Yeah.
Roman, you stupid.
Shut up.
Yeah.
This movie right here, man, The Fast and the Furious, because we're talking about how they start bringing more ethnic people in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this movie was unique for its time for how it kind of was trying to appeal to different ethnic demographics.
Yeah, demographics is the word because it wasn't just that it was, brown-skinned people but people who weren't rich.
Yeah.
I mean, so many movies you see people who have not menial jobs. They have, moderate jobs, but they live a rich lifestyle. They're like, if you tried to do that, you'd never have enough money to do the kind of stuff they do. People who be reporters, but they live in nice apartments by themselves.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But this is more people who live not poor, not on the street, but in modest homes. Very modest.
Yeah. No, exactly. You usually don't see movies like this appealing to like a white demographic at the same time trying to, be purely black like they were here.
Mm-hmm.
Because in here, the bros acted like bros.
What's up with this fool? What is he, sandwich crazy?
No, V, he ain't here for the food,
Chill
dog.
out, bro.
He trying to get at me his pants, dog.
The dialogue wasn't that great, but they're bros,
Yeah.
you kind of forgave them for that. But then you had the bros, and it seemed like, all right, this is a movie that they're trying to appeal to white people with. But then they had blacks come in, and they talk like straight up street blacks.
Hey, Monica. What's up, baby?
What's your problem, nigga? You didn't win.
Woo! Fuck you then.
So you had the Mexicans in here who acted like the Latins, who acted like Latinos. Straight up to having a Hector in there, whose actual name is Hector in the movie.
What you running under there, man? You gonna make me fight out the hard way? Hell yeah. They call me Hector. Got a last name too, but I can't pronounce it, so.
They had to do him like that.
So what year is Training Day?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't remember. Why?
Because it was the next thing I remember seeing him in.
Yeah, he was in a lot of stuff back then, man. Love Hector, boy. So you had the bros acting like bros, blacks acted like blacks, the Latins, the Latinos acted like Latinos, and the Asians acted like assholes.
Well, especially that Johnny Tran.
Oh, Johnny Tran was the worst.
That's your angry Asian right there.
Shit, yeah, it sure is.
Sure is.
Where are they, Ted? Where are they?
He said, crazy rich Asians, they just crazy. These Asians were such assholes, like the brown Asians were even like, we just gonna sit this out. Y'all ain't gonna make us look this bad. Because everybody was cool except the Asians. I mean, the Asians were cool, but they were villainous cool.
Yeah.
And it's funny because the movie, I guess they had to have a villain because the villains are the ones we're rooting for. So it seemed like they were just kind of forced to be the villains here,
Oh
man.
yeah, I guess so. But I mean, they were criminals too.
No, they were. That's what I'm saying. But they weren't cool criminals
They weren't nice criminals.
No. And plus they had that one. That the one I like was that one right there. He was real crazy.
Oh yeah,
just intense to the whole thing. Look at him, the way he's fidgeting when he gets on that motorcycle. You're so
I know, man. I enjoyed it some way.
He smile or something, man. He's getting that motorcycle moving and twitching and shit. Don't try to be all man with them pants on. This is a unique movie though, where not only was it representing a lot of cultures and demographics, ethnic demographics in one movie, but they catered to them all. Where, normally when they tell you a movie not to do that, because we have to make the soundtrack for this particular demographic, or we have to sell to this particular demographic, and if you mix it up, it's going to confuse people, and we won't sell it. That wasn't the case here, It was some of the music in the movie. They could kind of coexist already in certain areas. If you went to like a alternative music festival, like metal and hip hop and all that kind of stuff, you had bands playing all together. So it's not that far-fetched that they were doing it here for a movie, but they were really doing a lot of it here where they had different music to appeal to different groups. Because when you watch the movie, if you listen, and I don't have the Fast and Furious soundtrack, so I don't know what it was like, but I know you had a little bit of everything that appealed to young people back then. And this was 2001, but really this was music from like the 90s.
Sure.
It was left over from the 90s, like, that hip hop style from that period.
Once on my feet with the hat to the back, family on the block with the blow with the crack for the money, I'm up. Spit the game and don't quit.
You can't have these new metal bros in here without bringing in that Biscuit, man. Limp Bizkit had to be in here somewhere. They even had house music in here that was, because I was surprised. I'm like, wow, you really are blending in a lot of stuff. Oh, that's Raven right there. I like this dude. I would say this dude is on X, but I think he got himself tied in a knot right here. Trying to get himself free. Yeah, that's raves were really big at that time, man. And like I said, at that time, they had like house music was very popular, and I was surprised they featured that in this movie too.
What's it gonna be? Got it.
It was rare you saw movies do this kind of mix. So it's a real testament to the cool factor of this movie.
Yeah,
that it brought all those demographics together and enjoyed it, because this movie is considered a classic right now.
It should be.
And I'll tell you one group that this movie did not. One demographic this movie did not want to appeal to was, and it's funny when you look at how it is now, they didn't want to appeal to quote unquote old people. Because you know what I'm saying? Because all the authority figures were older people, and they were all either real stuffy people wearing ties and being very serious.
Sure. Yeah, you had Ted Levine as Brian's boss, and he was always saying shit like, "Oh, Toretto, he's got a gearbox for a head and an exhaust pipe for a heart." That was one thing we laughed about when we saw the movie. Like, what is he saying?
At that the black FBI guy, he would spend his time like either cops were real stuffy or serious or talking crazy like you talking about, or they were just straight up assholes, man.
Yeah.
Because they were the adults that didn't like the young whippersnappers around there, and I always said some smart ass to them.
Look, what do we know? It's just a matter of time until I win.
You want time? Find the magazine.
Man, what this?
Wow, so dismissive.
Man. You better watch out too, because these old cops around here, they weren't any competition for the young guys. Do you remember that one cop that tried to talk shit to Brian?
In this one?
Yeah.
Because I know in the fourth one, he busted one in the mouth.
In this one, he just pushed a guy. It looked like that guy slipped on a banana peel or something.
I think the kid's sisters blurred your vision.
Oh. Whoa! Now that's embarrassing.
That is.
They push you. You could probably just step back, and if you trip.
And my man is laughing at him. Look at yeah, just shut your ass up. Yeah, it's funny because that's not the most flattering way to have product placement in the movie. Pizza Hut right there. But you know who struck a gold mine with this, man.
Panasonic.
Panasonic and
any brew you want. As long as it's a Corona.
Thanks, man.
As long as it's a Corona.
And boy, that a relationship was started there. And
Sure
it's
was.
endured for 20 years.
Yeah.
Because you can't have one of these movies where they push that Corona so much.
Has every film had a Corona in it?
Yes.
Yes.
Matter of fact, I couldn't believe in this new movie they at one time drank something different.
They did? Oh,
you didn't notice it?
Blasphemy.
Yeah.
Oh, I did not. No, I ain't
I
gonna
mean, Corona was still in there, but there's a scene where they're at a bar and they order something that's not a Corona. And I was
You
like,
say,
oh.
Corona was in there, but they didn't like it. Who's this bitch?
Exactly.
And I would say even the stunts feel better here because I don't want to be one of those guys who's, talking about, well, practical is always better. But I mean, we're so beaten down by CG now. Just blasted with CG.
Well, that's the thing. You watch them do this with real cars and real stuntmen. So you're on the edge of your seat because it feels more real. Like, oh man, something could happen. Even just, on the set while doing it, something could happen. But just with getting caught up in the story, it feels like they're on the edge of danger.
Yes.
And now with the CG, not only can you not have that feeling of things being solid, but they're doing just, Avengers type stuff. Like you said, Captain America would be like, yeah, that's bullshit. I can't do that.
Yeah, that's the thing now. The emphasis are on stunts, but they're so over the top now that there's no sense of danger anymore. And also, because there's no believability in them. There's a lot of CG assisted stuff going on here. But, and I'm not, look, I'm not against it. It's great to see it on the big screen. Yeah. No, that's fine. I'm not one of those guys, but I will say that, man, I'm not on the edge of my seat really, because I don't, I'm not seeing a real world anymore.
No. And it's going to work out.
And exactly. When I watched today, when I was watching this, or yesterday rather, when I was watching this, that truck heist near the end, man, I was on the edge of my seat. Yeah. I was, you talk about a thrill. And, this is so there's that part where he was getting shot. And I really felt like at any moment he could get blasted off of that truck. I actually thought, and this is how much I believed in this because, I mean, by all means, you should believe the guy's going to be all right, because I don't think they're going to kill him because they want, that's part of the thrills too, is saving him. But I thought at any moment he was going to die.
Oh, yeah. Well, plus Vince had been a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
So it seemed like he was expendable.
That is true. Him being the hothead, it seemed like, well, that's what he gets. But, and then this scene with Paul Walker, like I said, the whole time, man, I'm really on edge. My heart is pumping because I really do feel like at any moment anybody could be hurt because they're pulling like real stunts right now.
Take the wheel! Put your foot on the gas!
Get back in the car.
Hey, you gone, man. You don't like me anyway. Yeah, I know. See, that's what got me. Because you got a lot of elements going on here. They're hanging on the side of this car. One dude's arm looks like it's about to come off, and the whole time that dude is putting bullets into his rifle. And this is I respect this because now it just seems like they're just trying to outdo themselves.
Yeah.
This is like actually crafting a scene. Not to say that they're not doing that now, but again, this is more on a believable level.
Come on, bitch! We have to get closer! Come on! Come on, bitch, here we go!
Like, I'm gonna shoot somebody. Yeah, this is why this one is my favorite out of all of them.
Absolutely.
Man. Isn't it funny? Like this, as many as they've made, this is still the one right here, man. I think my biggest criticism is that the movie wraps itself up too soon, too nicely, or or it just gets to a point where it says we have to just go ahead and just wrap everything up. It ends pretty quickly. Because so it's like the Asians, wasn't it Johnny Tran and his gang, and they really didn't seem like they were necessary in the movie. And I mean, I don't know. What do you think? Like the Asian gang, because I wonder. But only if they need to think to be a MacGuffin in the movie to make you think that they're pulling off these heists.
Yeah, I think that is their purpose.
Okay,
because you want to believe that Dom and crew aren't the ones doing it.
Yeah, well, it was just okay. I can take that. It's just that Johnny killed Jesse, so at this moment they're like, well, we just gotta get some quick get back, some quick revenge. So they just quickly take out Johnny. Like, well, that's that. You know what I'm saying? And they did that right after he shot Jesse. So that's that with that. Dom is trying to make his getaway because Vince is in the hospital. Everybody knows that Brian's a cop now. Everybody else is on the run, like Letty. So nothing's really getting wrapped up. Everybody just disappears. So Dom is just like, all right, I'm out. And he tries to outrun Brian and that was another cool scene right there where they beat that train. I don't know if that was CG assisted, but I knew they were gonna make it, but it still had me. That magic button.
Yeah.
But
right after.
Boy, that made me laugh because I forgot about this.
His ass did not see that coming.
Man, look how confident he is. Hell yeah. It's what I do. How you like that? After that, I said, you know what? Maybe he did get his superpowers in this movie.
Oh, you think that's where it happens?
Yeah, because you look at him, he just got a little scratch on his head.
That's not what I had in mind.
And then he gets out and walks out. And that's where, like I said, that's where the movie just wraps itself up. Brian gives him the keys to his car and says, well, hey, you know what? I guess we family now, so I'm gonna let you go.
You know what you're doing.
I owe you a 10-second car.
And then Brian just struts away, man. I remember watching the movie, I'm like, damn, that just ended.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know what there is to do other than you see Brian get lit away in handcuffs.
Yeah. I don't know how they would have ended it either, I guess. And a lot of 70s movies ended like that, where just nothing got resolved, I don't know how other people feel, of course, after they, watch this film. Maybe they really grow to love these characters, that they love them no matter what movie they make. But it has made it harder for me to enjoy these movies as much.
When you rewatch this, yes, because when you watch the newer ones, you realize there's not even much of a connection back to this.
Nah, watching these characters get along like they did, the way they bonded, as you said, as much charisma as a lot of these characters had. Again, just that this movie had a really cool human touch to it, in addition to all these really great practical effects, man. Yeah, this I just forgot how entertaining this movie was, and it wasn't just because of the cars either.
No,
it was a huge part.
Yeah, big part, but there was so many other things going on with it.
Yeah, and it's hard watching this knowing how Paul Walker died, because even when Don was telling that story about how his father burned alive in the car, I was like, wow, that's
prophetic. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's a great film though, man. And brought back some good memories. And seriously, it's if you have not watched this movie, now if you've been keeping up with the series and you have not watched this movie, but you've seen some of these other films, go and watch this. Seriously, your heart will stop. Your mind will be blown.